Welcome back, my friend. Now I know you have a burning question. Where should I place my money first? I get that question a lot, meaning, hey Juan, I got $20,000. Should I use that to pay down this credit card that has $20,000 charged to it? So I use this $20,000 to buy my personal residence first? Should I use this $20,000 to invest in real estate? What should I do? I don't know. Great question. Alright, so should I buy my personal residence first or investment property? I have a video on this, okay, so check the resources, right? But this is my story. I end up using my capital to pay down debts because I had bad credit. I had about $23,000 worth of debt when I graduated college, and I used almost every penny to invest in. I used every penny to pay down the debt. Now, do I advise you to do the same? No. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a Juan Pablo tell me what to do, what not to do, but that's what I did. Was it detrimental? No, of course. My credit looked great to the point I qualified for a mortgage as soon as after I paid down the debt. But I realized in hindsight, I really didn't have to pay down the whole $23,000. As I mentioned before, you want to pay the debt down to the point that your debt to credit ratio is looking good, 30% or lower. But I paid it all the way down to 0. Okay, so that's what I did. But now in hindsight, I wish I would have put the money that gave me the highest cash on cash return. So meaning if I had $20,000 and I paid off a $20,000 credit card and it saved me $400 a month, I know how to calculate my cash on cash return, which is 400 I saved times 12 months. So 4 times 12 is 3,600, right? And divide that by the amount of money, 20,000. So that would equate to a cash on cash return, right? And then I'll compare that to real estate. So I bought a property using that same 20,000, and it gave me $500 a month in cash flow and passive income. Then 500 times 12, that's 600 divided by 20,000 will be a higher cash on cash return. So you want to go with the strategy that provides the highest cash on cash return first and foremost. Okay? So would you rather save 300 or make 400? Or would you rather save 1,000 and just cash flow 500? Okay? So that's what you should do first. Now the next question is, should you pay down debt first or buy real estate? Well, if your debt is hindering you from getting to real estate, then yes, you might want to pay down some of that debt first. But if not, then pour that money into real estate. It's that simple. And third, should you buy your personal residence first or a rental property first? Which is going to give you a higher cash on cash return? Such as if you're paying rent is $1,000 a month, but if you buy a house and your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is going to be $600, then your housing expenses drop by $400 a month. Is that $400 savings, does that exceed you potentially making a cash flow if you use the same $20,000 as your down payment? Would you get the same cash flow if you use that $20,000 for a down payment on a 3-unit, and let's say you were getting $600? So then you have to make that comparison. Would I rather save $400 a month or make $600 a month? Of course, I'd rather you make $600 so that you can get as much passive income as possible to quit your day job. So you got to go with the strategy that produces the highest cash on cash return, whether it's paying down debt, buying your personal residence, or investing in real estate. So my situation, I paid down debt first. I bought my personal residence. I bought it using FHA, which is the Federal Housing Administration. They have less stringent mortgage standards. I think at the time it was this credit score that I needed was a 620, which was not bad. A 620 FICO score. And with that 620 FICO score, I only needed a 3.5% down payment, which is not bad at all. And I got a 2-unit, the 2-family. That was my first deal. And with the 2-family, I lived in 1 unit and rented out the others. So that way it was both a personal residence as well as an investment property. To the point I lived there free and clear, no housing payment. So that way I have additional capital that I can use to invest in more real estate and make my personal credit look prettier and prettier by paying down my debt utilization. Do you guys follow? Okay, so that's the steps I took. Pay down debt, personal residence, investment. Now, not to say you have to do the same thing. Because I also have a real estate friend in New York City, in Queens, and he rents. He rents. The unit that him and his wife live in, he rents. He doesn't have a 9 to 5. He quit his job. He has, at the time, 70 rental units. 70. And he can care less about buying a personal residence because he was thinking, why would I want to save up $50,000 and use that towards a down payment? Because he's in a New York area, you know, the New York market is pretty expensive with real estate. He said, why would I want to save $50,000 and use that towards a down payment when I can use that $50,000 and use that as a down payment towards an apartment building? So that way I can be financially free much sooner. So his goal was to get financially free, which he accomplished, and then the next goal was to do the same for his wife, and he's doing that right now. So if you're aggressive and you desperately want to exit the 9 to 5 and say goodbye to the 9 to 5 and get that cash flow, quit your day job, then you might want to implement the same strategy. Every dime you get, use it towards passive income. And you might say, hey, I can care less about owning my personal residence. Like you said, Juan Pablo, I want the power formula. I want to afford my living expenses right now, bare minimum. Then I want to pile up, and the next couple of deals I do, the proceeds that I receive from the future deals, I'll use that towards my personal residence. All right, pile up. So now I want you to watch the videos. What should I buy first? Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Hopefully you'll watch all these, you know, at the end after this video. But you can still revert to what I said earlier, just doing a video a day, whatever your time permits. So I want you to watch all 3 of those, and I want you to decide which strategy produces the biggest cash on cash return for you. So if you say, hey, I don't know what my potential cash on cash return will be if I buy an investment property because I'm new at this. Okay, and if you're unsure of how to do that, then you might want to consider doing the easiest one, which is paying down some debt below 30% and making sure your credit's in order, using that capital you have for credit repair if need be. And again, we got that as a resource for you in our resources. Or you might say, hey, I'll just use this towards buying my personal residence, and if the PITI, principal, interest, tax, and insurance, your mortgage payment in other words, is less than what you're paying for rent, then that's great. But if you're buying a house and your PITI, your mortgage payment, is higher than what you're currently paying in rent, then that's not going to be a smart move. You want to be financially free independent. You shouldn't be thinking about improving your standard of living now. You should be thinking about what? Reducing it for now. Temporarily. It's just a short-term sacrifice. So that way you can pile up later after you free up your time and become financially free and independent through your cash flow that you obtain through your rental properties. So you don't need a big fancy house right now. You don't need your personal living expenses to increase right now. Keep them to a bare minimum. Don't buy a big house with a bigger housing payment. You want to reduce your housing payment. Remember? So make sure you're staying to the plan. You're sticking to the plan. Okay? All right, so I just want to make sure you understand that. Okay? All right, so that's pretty much it. I want you to do your homework and tell me which of those, or for yourself, tell yourself, which strategy, pay down debt, buying a personal residence, if you're saving money, of course, when you're on your housing expense, not if you're expending more money, of course, you don't want to do that. And third, an investment property. And with investment property, you want to have a cash-on-cash return of 10% or higher. Again, that's the amount of cash flow you receive per year over the amount of money you borrow. And you should, by now, start calculating. And as I mentioned, if you don't know what it is in your market, use the $150 benchmark. Take $150 per month, per deal. Let's say you got 1 unit and multiply times 12 months, divided by the amount of money you have to invest. That's how you do it. Okay? All right, guys. So as always, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately, and do your homework, guys. Don't cheat yourself. Don't just take this product and say, hey, it was good content, I listened to it. No, actually do this stuff. Go over this content over and over multiple times and get it in. All right, peace.